Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance is one of the most widely read philosophy books ever. 40 years after Robert Pirsig's cross-country motorcycle trip, author Mark Richardson has followed in his path. Hi, I'm Rebecca Brayton and welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're speaking with Richardson about his book, Zen and Now. First, can you describe your book, Zen and Now, for us?
Zen and Now is my own retracing of the route of Robert Pirsig and his son Chris. They went in 1968 from Minneapolis to San Francisco on his old motorcycle. So I had taken off on this current trip, which became the trip for Zen and Now, partly in order to have a good road trip and see if any of Robert Pirsig's lessons would rub off on me, or just sort of throw yourself open to the experience and see what happens. But also to see, frankly, if the grass was greener on the other side of my bachelorhood, like 20 years ago when I didn't have a wife and children, and I was kind of anxious to just get out for a while and escape all the shackles of mortgages and families and things. And I did that.
How would you say your books are similar, and how would you say that they differ?
My book, I'm not an intellectual. I'm not trying to make any kind of preaching here. Robert Pirsig's book does preach. I mean, he sits back and he gives what he calls chautauquas, lectures, lessons on life and stuff, and it's like sitting in a classroom and listening to the teacher. My book doesn't say this is good and this is why. It just tells you the experiences that I went through on my trip and allows you to form your opinion of that. I show rather than tell.
Has Pirsig read your book?
I didn't know very much about Robert Pirsig, and my original first manuscript of my book was my road trip and my personal angst. Pirsig read it. I sent it to him, and he said that reading my book was like sitting on an airplane and the movie's playing up there, but you don't have the headphones on. There's an entire soundtrack that's missing from my book. And he said, I hope you find out what it is. Good luck. Cheers, Robert Pirsig. And he wrote back, in fact, a couple of weeks later, and suggested that what was missing from my book was a thorough critical analysis of Zen itself, and suggested some books for me to read and some Zen temples to hang out in, that sort of thing. I recognized that was going to take me an awful long time to recognize that I didn't hear the sound of one hand clapping. Zen and Now provides a context and is even a bit of a primer for Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. That if you were always curious about it and you just never quite understood it or didn't know what all the big fuss was about, which was like me, you read my book and you go, oh, that's what he's on about. Oh, that's where it comes from. And then you'll be able to read Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. That's what I really hope, is that somebody reads it and can get its lessons.